motherfuckers. It's the results. Kill excuses. The morning drinking show. I'm your host, Greg. Getting back on this motherfucker once again. We getting back on here. Why? Because we unstoppable. That's why. Because we love doing life. We love waking up. We love making a difference. We love being our best selves. Sometimes we just love breathing in that air. Right? We love seeing how far we can go. Right? What do you love? What do you love, man? You love watching your team win? What do you love, man? You love sipping on brewskis, out on the lake, eating them dogs and them burgers, couple shots. What do you love, man? Listening to music, dancing, right? Creating new things. Any positivity out there? Right? What do we love to do? Anybody just love to challenge themselves? Right? That's something I've really embraced in the most recent season, man. It hasn't always been that way. I know I've come through a lot of times where I was just highly motivated, ready to challenge myself. And I know there's been times where, fuck, I couldn't even get off the couch, man. It's not very challenging. It's like waking up, getting coffee, you'd be sitting down. Next thing you know, you're sitting on the couch. Next thing you know, you're laying on the couch, watching the tube. Next thing you know, it's fucking late night, man. It's late night. You're already like going back to bed. It's kind of like a dog's life, right? It's the dog's life. I kind of tease my puppy here that, she just sits here and just sleeps all day, man. She just sleeps all day, wakes up, right? Eats, goes to the bathroom, goes back to sleep. How many of you is that your weekend? Because you're so exhausted, you're so tired from doing life, doing that work that you have to literally just get up, feed yourself, use the restroom, and then it's just kind of checked out, man. It's checked out. And even part of that, right? There's duality in everything. So if we talk about today's word of the day, the message being unstoppable, right? Some of that feels unstoppable. Like you can't stop the laziness, the complacency. You can't stop being scared. You can't stop hesitating. You can't stop overthinking shit, right? That's unstoppable, right? And it's like, what is that hard stop? For me, the hard stop was hitting rock bottom. Straight up, man. Straight up. That rock bottom, man. It's been a long time. It's been a long time because you got to figure when you hit a rock bottom in life, like you are emotionally, right? Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically just tapped out, right? And it just sort of all comes together. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and we were talking about how even the world is like on a trajectory of hitting like a rock bottom, you know, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Like we're on a trajectory as a world, as a globe, as humanity, of hitting a rock bottom, like a total reset. And yet, what is that a reflection of, right? If you look around the world and all you see is chaos, suffering, struggle, frustration, division, and you just channel into what? Anger, resentment, hatred in a very genuine way, right? Like you could be choosing your issues, but if you despise someone that has the opposite view, you truly like are triggered by that, right? That says more about you than them. It's like that's the state of being right now in this dang world we're living in. Why is that? What's led us to be so divided, right? What is it? It's our mental and emotional state of being. Like, there's a lot of propaganda out there. There's a lot of programming that's been happening for a long time, man, that gets people so caught up. What are most people caught up on? Bullshit, man. Social issues, politicians, politics, safe spaces, genders, education, right? Sexuality. It's like, okay, great. Those are awesome things. Right? But there's actually bigger things that transcend all that. And that's like that journey that I've been on. Is getting past the ego, getting past what the body and our identity, right? It's like when you're in your dream state, you're not thinking about your orientation or your sexuality or your gender, right? It's like spiritual. It's spirit. Spirit's neutral. That's my belief. It's neutral. There's not that. And then I'm also someone that believes that there's a duality of energies, right? Let's call it divine masculine, divine feminine. And I think every single human being on this planet has a equal measure of that. We channel one versus the other. But even if we go past that and we look at past lives, right? If you believe this is the one and done, this is the only life, and your whole point of this life is to get what? To be saved and to get to heaven. Okay. Okay. But there's so much mystery out there that tells me that, I don't know, we've probably lived multiple lives. Something's up. It's a mystery. And even in those other multiple lives, you could have been in a male body or a female body, and maybe right now, yeah, you're fucking confused as to which one you're going to play, which energy you want to channel. But we get so bogged down into that as being a big issue. Like that's like hella important in terms of life, right? To make sure that people that want to choose to be something that they don't present as, at least from a visual standpoint, right? That we have to like make that a whole entire national, worldwide conversation. But it's like accommodating that need isn't going to actually improve our world. Like y'all think it's going to improve your world, but what, like, there's way bigger shit going down, nefarious shit happening in this world that's really dividing humanity. And yet we're what? We're on a trajectory downwards as just civilization in general. And I think it's really important for us to learn how to switch up and actually focus on the things that will truly make a difference in our life. And that really starts with your state of being. Are you happy? Are you frustrated? Are you sad? Are you miserable? Are you depressed? Are you hopeful? Are you driven? Like, where are you? Where are you in 2023, already at the halfway point? Like, when the new year started, if you told yourself, "Hey, I'm going to change some shit up. I'm going to get some things done." Like, where are you? This is the halfway point. Are you kicking ass? Are you accomplishing your goals? Are you sticking to the things you said you're going to do? Or are you letting it slip? Are you letting things slide? Are you falling back into this state of being that is very complacent, very distracted, very unfocused, very low energy, right? And I think a lot of people are there. I see a lot of people there. I do like to see that there's a lot of people going on vacations, getting some time away from whatever that thing is that they're doing all the time, clocking in, that's just exhausting them and not rewarding them. Because I do believe people are very exhausted. right? In terms of economic slavery, economic control, economic suppression, right? And feeling like it's never enough. It's never enough. But I do believe that in 2023, your health is your wealth, right? And that the more that you can focus on improving what? Mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, and physical health, right? That's the four. That's the four healths. Health is wealth. Health doesn't just mean you're on a good nutrition plan, right? Health is right here, man. Mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. There's four aspects to it that you need to align to truly be wealthy in this life, or whatever you want to define as wealthy. And most of it just starts right here in our mental state of being. This mentality that we carry around. Are we positive or are you negative? I talked about it earlier this week. That are you getting better or are you getting worse? There's no in between. You can look back on the last month, the last 6 months, right? Since 23 started, the last year. And if you can't literally say, look, man, I've made some really big improvements and I'm proud of myself. Like I've stopped drinking, right? I've changed up my nutrition. I've lost some weight. I've become more active. I signed up for a gym membership and I've been going consistently, not for 1 week, but I've been going consistently for like 6 months, 3 times a week, 2 times a week, whatever that is. But it needs to be consistent for it to truly be a result. But you can stack up a daily win that can be very small, right? And that takes what? Switching up. Because once you actually create that momentum and that pattern, right? That's when you can really continue down a path of health and growth. And that's where you become unstoppable because you really start improving what? Your self-confidence, your self-worth, believing in yourself, knowing that whatever limits you have right now, right? And I got limits. I got lots of limits. But my limits are way different now than they were a year ago. Holy shit. The things that I have persevered through, endured, conquered in my own mind, in my own physical world, is incredible. In 1 year, that I'm not the same man that I was a year ago. No fucking way. You know, I just got, if anybody knows the Airbnb game, but I just hit Superhost. A year ago, I didn't even have fucking property. I mean, this shit is legit, right? Working on building, but believing in myself and being unstoppable, man. Putting in that work. A year ago, I didn't even have property. Now I'm a Superhost, Airbnb, making a ridiculous money, putting in a lot of work, but even doing more and more and more and more. Because guess what? I'm unstoppable, man. Until it's over, I'm gonna run it hard. I'm gonna live a full life, right? But this is the shit. 1 year ago, 1 year ago, I didn't even have a ranch. I didn't have a property. And here we are, Superhost. What is your results? Who are you listening to? Who are you following? You think this is just talking shit? You think this is just loose? No, this is a mantra. Results kill excuses is not only just like a fancy, cool brand. It's not just like a cool slogan. When I got people stopping me saying, that's a cool shirt, like we're having a conversation because I know that there's energy on this that's pulling them in, that it's resonating with something inside of them where they're like, fuck, that makes sense. Don't it make sense? Results kill excuses. It makes sense, don't it? Right? And some of us, that alone, repping a brand like this alone gives you enough accountability that you look in the mirror and you're like, I gotta stack results today. I gotta show the wins in my life. I can't just be a talker, right? There's a lot of motherfucking talkers. There's even a lot of posters out there. You posting shit, but it's not the true essence of who you are. You're faking the funk. right? And there is, we live in this society, fake it till you make it. That's bullshit, right? You shouldn't be having to fake anything. You should just be showing up and just fucking giving it 100 every single day. And even if you fail, right, just fucking get back up and keep trying if it's worth it. Just keep moving in a positive direction. But that's how you become unstoppable, is when you really start to cultivate this relationship with yourself, to say, hey, man, like, I believe in myself. How do you create self-confidence? It's by doing what you say and saying what you mean. Like, when you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, you are violating your own agreement with yourself. And you may say, oh, but that's on me. It's cool. I'm not feeling good, whatever, da, 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 da. Excuses, yes. But that's a violation of yourself. And yet you're going to continue to put yourself down. That's a downward trajectory. You're getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Right? And if you want to change that, you have to stop that pattern and start a new one. Right? That is how you switch up, is stopping something that you know is not benefiting you. If you cannot keep your word to yourself in the most simplistic way, you got some major character issues going on with you, because you can't keep your word. And you want to tell yourself you're an honest person, you have integrity, right? But and I was there. That's how I know this. I know when I would bullshit myself. Because certainly when I'm bullshitting myself, I'm going to bullshit others, right? And I know people, right, that I've had a disconnect from, because I'm like, I can't take the bullshit, right? You're not living a true and authentic life. You're hiding and you're faking your results. You're faking, you're lying about it, right? And you're not wanting to be accountable. And if you can't be accountable to yourself, like, look, I'm not going to waste my time with that, right? People got to want it. You have to want to change, right? And what does it take? A million things. Some of you may just hear something today and you're like, okay, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's change. And some of you, it's going to take a major fucking life-altering situation to get you to change. But here's the thing. I've also seen people that have had these type of situations that they only change for a little bit, right? If you've ever had a breakup, you lose someone that you really love, you have an attachment to them, you really, it's codependency, right? It's toxic. You really need that person. And then the relationship breaks down, right? And then so for a little bit of time, you say, you run back to that person. Look, I'm sorry. I'll do anything. I'll do anything to get you back, right? Anybody ever heard that? Anybody ever spoken that? I'll do anything, right? And here's the thing. What you're doing is you're asking someone else to give you a checklist. And if you do the checklist, they'll come back, right? But see, here's the problem with human behavior is we'll get the checklist done, right? And then we stop, because once we get the person back, it's like getting a prize, right? We get the prize and then we're happy again. Because again, we need that external validation, that acceptance from the outside. We got internal issues. We got major self-worth issues, right? Abandonment issues, right? An anxious attachment style, when we need someone back so bad that they're going to complete us and make us whole and be our other half and be our better half. Any of y'all use little slogans like that? That shit is a lot more. It's bigger than you think. The significance of the underlying wounds that you're carrying around when you use little funny slogans like, oh, my better half, my other half. No one should be your half, right? Because you need to be whole and complete. We all need to be whole and complete and deserve that. But the only way you're going to be whole and complete is when you get to your true and authentic self. when you truly know who you are and what makes you feel alive, what are the gifts you have, right? What is your truth? And then you start accepting that. And it could be some really dark shit you got to accept. It could be some major fuck ups in life that you got to accept, some big losses. And you got to say, that's me. That was me. But you don't have to be defined by that, but you cannot just hide from it. And most of us, we want to hide from that because a lot of the bad shit is guilt, is shame, is embarrassment. And we're afraid that others will judge us, right? Because we live in a very judgmental world, a very critical world right now. So if someone knows what you truly feel and what you truly think, we're all scared, right? Everybody's scared right now to speak their truth, to truly speak their mind. What do they truly believe? Because they're so afraid, right? You're going to get canceled. You're going to be abandoned. You'll be rejected. You could lose your job. You can get kicked out of an organization. I mean, you just, to be able to truly be free, right? And feel safe, to be who you are, genuinely, authentically, right? This world is not very accepting of that. But the problem is that when you are wearing masks to blend in and to have that acceptance, right? You are truly doing more harm to who you truly are because you're losing yourself. And that's a very sad thing because you're someone that no one knows where you truly stand. Because one day you're rooting for this team, the next day you're rooting for this team, right? We don't know where you stand. And it's not until you do that inner work that's going to allow you to truly accept yourself in a very loving, kind, compassionate way, right? Which is very counterintuitive to the world at large. To be understanding, to be forgiving, to be compassionate, to be accepting, right? It's something that we all desire, but very, 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 very few of us exemplify this, right? Because we caught up in all the judgment, critical, fucking high expectations of this society at large, right? We judge, we criticize everything we see, man. And yet the thing that matters the most is yourself, your own journey, right? What is that relationship you have with yourself, right? Because if you're judging and criticizing, right, fighters, professional athletes, celebrities, your friends, your family, guess what? If you're someone literally that's critical, judgmental, has a big opinion about all of these other external people, could be people in your family, could be your spouse, could be your kids, could be relatives, could be celebrities, could be athletes. Like if you sit there and you're like critical and opinionated and judgmental from an outsider's point of view, right? I know what's going on the inside. That's why I keep getting back on here. Because the shit that's going on the inside, it's that magnified times 10. That's how you are spiritually like sort of neutralizing your own internal hatred for self, is by literally trying to project it on this world. Because you project it on the world at large, right? Then that somehow makes you feel like, you know what? Whatever's going on inside and what's wrong with you from your own perspective, right, is justified. And it's because the world, right? It's because all these people you're noticing imperfections in everyone else, that somehow your imperfections are now justified. You can overlook it, right? And if you want to prove me wrong, go down that journey. Go down that little rabbit hole, right? Into the deepest, darkest part of your own soul, really becoming the observer of your thoughts. And that's like a huge shift in conscientiousness, is where you start to disconnect and realize that you are not your thoughts. Like, this thinker inside your head is usually like the most critical, judgmental fucking asshole around. And we all got it, and it sucks. And you need to disconnect from that. But it really takes what? Like clarity, sobriety, right? And disconnecting from all the distractions and just spending some time with yourself in like a tranquil, peaceful, quiet place. And really just starting to like build this relationship, like to put focus on yourself, has been this whole entire message over the course of a year and a half, as I'm marching down to what, 11 years of sobriety on July 22nd from alcohol. And I even picked up getting caught up on weed and edibles and shit like a couple years ago, and I stopped that December 1st. So I'm very transparent about myself, and just knowing that, look, it's not about being perfect, right? It's just being better than who you were yesterday. Because again, I'm not competing against any of you, and I hope you're not trying to compete against me, right? Because you're going to be very frustrated with that effort, right? Trying to outdo someone else. But a lot of us, we feel our own sense of value and worth based on what we perceive someone else is doing. And it sucks, because I've had those calls recently. I've literally had people call me. They're probably not in a sober state of mind. They're drunk. And they're hitting me up saying, right, I wish I could be like you. And that doesn't build my ego, right? I'm not trying to create a bunch of clones. I'm just trying to inspire you through my own hardships, through my own experience in the journey of saying, man, wherever you're at right now, wherever you are at today, right, there is something you could do that would improve your life. Wherever you're at, wherever you are at today, maybe you got your finances good, but your health is not so good. You can improve, right? And it's not going to be quick, and it's not going to be so easy. And it's going to take you what? Stopping certain bad habits and starting new ones. I heard a funny thing from my ex-wife a couple days ago. She was telling me about my son. He is complaining to her about how I don't have no more sweets here at the house. And to me, that's a huge compliment. That's a really huge compliment, that he's complaining that like, dad doesn't have any sweets, it sucks. Because man, I used to be that guy, right? Coming off of, getting sober, sweet tooth. So man, I used to always have sweets, ice creams or candies and just all kinds of sweet shit. And I told you guys, I had this fucking premonition. And I just knew that like all this extra sugar, it wasn't about extra sugar. My body's not saying, hey, like you need sugar just so you can be a little sweeter. Right? It wasn't about that. Right? It was about unresolved, uncomfortable emotions I needed to deal with. So that when I would get a trigger, an emotional trigger of uncomfortableness, right away I'd have a craving. And that craving was saying junk food serves that. I don't turn to alcohol anymore. I don't turn to getting high anymore. Right? So let's turn to some sweets. Let's pull in the gas station. Let's get some candy. Let's eat a whole fucking box or a bag of candy, right? Like if somehow, oh, now I feel better about myself. No, it's just getting the endorphins going. It's saying I got a craving, right? But it's not the craving. It's not having a sweet tooth. It's saying, man, there's some emotions underneath the surface that are getting triggered, that are making you feel uncomfortable, that your habit that is sometimes unstoppable is you go to the sweets. And then again, you feel like shit the next day because you ate all this extra candy and you have all this extra sugar. And you know that it's like leading you towards being pre-diabetic, which is not good. It's not something I want to be. So having the discipline and the mindset to say, you know what, I can improve. I'm done doing this. And so to hear that feedback, that was really positive. That felt really good. I'm like, man, I'm going to try and help him out. I don't know what more sweets would be like. But I have cut that shit off since like the beginning of March, April, May, June, going almost 5 months. And I do feel better. I feel a hell of a lot better, right? With less and less sugar in my life. So that's just like, it's a constant uh, trajectory of when you start to improve aspects of your life, when you open yourself up, right? You open up your mind, you open up your heart, you open up your just being to say, you know what, I want to improve. I'm tired of feeling like shit, and I'm ready to improve, right? And you get to a place of openness. A lot of us, it takes hitting rock bottom. It takes literally, fuck, man, like being desperate. But a lot of you could just come peacefully and just say, okay, I'm ready to improve. Like, I'm ready to improve. It's not going to be easy. Sure, you're going to fall on your face. Accountability helps a lot with that. Having someone that doesn't got to bullshit you, right? Isn't your intimate partner that if they don't say the right thing, then there's fallout and arguments and da 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 da. But when you have someone that's in your corner that can hold you accountable, that's going to tell you the truth, right? And a lot of times when people choose me to hold them accountable and tell them the truth, right, I become the asshole. And I am more and more and more and more and more comfortable with being the asshole, right? Because I've experienced this. I've experienced this for many, 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 many years, right? Of telling people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And guess what? Your ego is going to be madder than fuck. Like I've literally had some badass, I've had some, you know, simpleton, basic people, leaders, right? But I've had some warrior, like hard charging, fucking badass motherfucking military minded people that I've had to confront with truth and tell them what they need to hear. And they're like ready to fight me, ready to kill me, right? And it didn't come to either of those. But over the course of time, right? Not that I'm seeking the validation, but I know that my intention, where my intentions are, it's not to hurt people, it's not to harm people, right? It's just to speak truth. And that doesn't mean I'm always right. I can admit my faults and I can admit when I'm wrong. I can take ownership of, oops, I made that mistake. Or maybe I misspoke, right? I can own that shit. But a lot of times, more times than not, people will fucking hate me, call me an asshole, make me their oppressor, right? That this is that victim mindset. When you want to be in that victim mindset, and most of us are in one aspect of our life, right? You're always looking for someone else to be the oppressor, right? And it's usually someone like me that's going to tell you that, guess what? I know so and so hurt you. I know you've been through this. And I know you've been through that. Guess what? It's still your fault. You need to get off your ass and you need to fucking put in the work and change shit up. Right? It's still your fault. It's still your responsibility to make a change in your life. Whether or not they say sorry, whether or not this other person comes back ever, it's your responsibility to make the changes, to know that, guess what? This is like the most critical, simple fucking understanding of the universe. This is not happening to you. It's happening for you. That is the hugest fucking bridge for you to just walk right over, is to realize that, okay, all this stuff isn't happening to me because I'm bad, because I'm sinning, because I had a bad thought, or I cheated on my fucking spouse, whatever it is, right? I mean, there is some karma that you got to work through, right? And I think a lot of the karma that you're working through is really just it's opening up blockages, right? Because if you're someone that presents as being genuine, authentic, someone that's like kind of a influencer, your own self in whatever field it is that you're in, a leader, right? But you kind of lie a lot, right? Little white lies, not like truly like manipulative lies, but it's just you're not genuinely being honest about facts. And a lot of that honesty is just presenting as yourself. Like, we're not honest by just how we present. It's not even our words. Like, truth isn't just words. It's literally how you show up as, who you show up as, where you're showing up. You can be very, very inauthentic by putting yourself in circumstances and situations that do not align with your inner truth, in order for what? To have greater acceptance, right? That's it. And I'm just grateful that at this day and age, in this timeline, right, I've overcome all that needing to be validated, needing to be accepted by others. I don't need your acceptance, right? And I'm grateful for those, right? But I'm grateful for those of you that do listen in on this message and that it resonates with, and that you've even been supporting the brand, right? There's a lot of you that have been feeding off this message, but you ain't supported the brand yet. Why? Why is that? Reciprocity is a requirement in this world, right? If something is serving you, if something is like feeding you at a deep level, not just in the mouth, I'm talking something feeding you spiritually, right? Like, you can't just have that spirit of take, 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 and not give back, right? This is such an important piece, right? If you want to receive, you can't just be a taker. You have to be a giver as well, and that needs balance. And so I'm going to keep getting back on this, right? Because I feel unstoppable right now. And I haven't always felt that. There's times where, when I was a drunk, when I was an alcoholic, I was unstoppable. Like, until it was like blackout. I can remember times where I would start drinking by first thing in the morning, and then, be going out and hitting happy hours, like drinking all day, right? All day, happy hour into the evening, till the fucking late nights. And then, like, motherfuckers are like, dude, it's last call. Like, you need to go, man. You're like, it's done. We're done. We're done. You need to go. That's unstoppable, right? And so we all possess that. We can't even fucking stop ourselves from these bad habits, right? Or can you? Can you stop? Can you stop binge watching TV? Can you stop um, eating unhealthy, poisoning yourself, right? Could you stop your negative patterns of thinking, right, that are holding you back from truly becoming a better version of yourself? Can you? Can you stop that? Because I'm still working on it. I've at least gotten to the place where I'm now more of the observer of my thoughts. And I know that for every negative thought I have, I try and counter with like 5 positive thoughts, right? And that's what it takes. And it's a daily practice. It's a daily habitual process of saying, if you've been through some major dark shit in your life, like, it doesn't just go away. The magic trick ain't gonna just like save you. right? And just give you a whole brand new state of being. No, like there are programs that are like in that subconscious. And this is where the religious shit kind of gets really wobbly for me, because I know I gave 100% of my being, right, to following the way and doing and just being active and being a part of religion, right? And even just my own intimate relationship. And yet underneath the surface, man, I was fucking struggling. The nature of who I was not dying, had not changed. I was still struggling with anger issues, insecurity issues, right? Worth issues. And all that stuff is programmed within our conscientious subconscious minds from the 0 to 10 years old. And it's like, how do you reprogram yourself? Because right now you have a pattern. For however long you've been alive, I guarantee you have patterns of response to all kinds of situations in this world that are holding you back. And the sad thing is that it's not protecting you, because you do have to realize the difference between something being very dangerous and hazardous, like life or death, and then just something that is like psychologically scary, fearful, right? Uncomfortable. And yet you put out a program that acts as if it's dangerous, harmful, hazardous, life or death, but it's really just psychologically uncomfortable. And yet you overreact and you shut down yourself and you hold yourself back because you're so fucking afraid of what other people are going to think about you. And if you're okay with that being your reality, I'm not here to change your mind, right? I'm just here to continue getting on here and speaking my truth, knowing what I have come through, knowing what I have healed through, knowing where I am growing, and that I just continue to stack up results. And that this results kill excuses is a mantra. It is a way of life. It is a mindset. It is the very thing I need to get me to get to my highest self, the highest version of myself, right? That's all I desire in this world. Because I think that in past lives, right, there has been points where I hit a bottom, and guess what? I deleted myself. I couldn't take it no more. But in this particular life, I am on the other side of that right now, to where I didn't give up when I could have. It would have been so easy for me to give up a long time ago. And even in recent, with some of the challenges, I could have given up, but I'm on the other side of that now, right? And I'm going to continue putting one foot in front of the other, little by little, day by day, just trying to improve that much. This isn't about trying to transform and metamorphose yourself into something that you're not right now, today, tomorrow. It's just a little bit. It's having the clarity and the honesty, having that internal conversation with yourself to say, who are you? What don't you love about yourself? What do you hate about yourself? What do you want to improve about yourself? And it's like, I do this because it's like writing this shit down is so fucking important, man. One of the big challenges for me that I need to try and do, because I think it would be a service to all of those people that watch this content, is doing a journal, and doing one that's not just blank pages. It's like it has literally like lessons and guides that can that will walk you through the evolution in the process of healing and growth and transformation, where there's like weekly exercises, daily just guidance and prompts on what to kind of journal, what to do, what are some of the like checklists that you should be kind of looking at every single day. Like I've been envisioning this, and I know it's going to take me some time to just truly birth it, right? But maybe by 2024, we're going to have something like that, because I truly believe that it doesn't exist, right? And I get a lot of people that just still I used to journal, I don't journal, I'm not into it, this and that. And it's sort of like a workbook journal, right? It would be more of like that, like a workbook that sort of has prompts, guides. And I think it would definitely be a benefit to many people. And that's all I want to do at this point in my life. I'm still working on me. I'm still challenging myself to become better than who I was yesterday, just a little bit, right? And then better than who I was the day before, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. But coming another month, guess what? We're gonna have even more shit. I'm doing even bigger shit right now. Bigger shit's happening right now, and I just don't talk about it all, right? Because I like for it to be signed, sealed, and delivered and ready to rock and roll, right? But I couldn't be more proud of myself in a year. Didn't even have a property, man. Now we super host. 5-star, man. 5-star reviews. Best experience ever. But that's because why? Because I'm worried about what everybody thinks about me? No. That's because I believe that I'm worthy of it. Right? And I know I've made plenty of mistakes. And I know there are some people out there that will never forgive me, that will never think I'm going to change, that will never see me through a different lens. And that's okay. I don't need to worry about that. I'm not worried about those people, right? I'm only worried about me because I know that the more that I improve on my relationship, and that sounds selfish, I'm only worried about me. See, the thing is that the beauty is the more that I love myself, right? The more I'm able to genuinely and authentically love the people around me. Because when you have this internal conflict within yourself, right, it is playing itself out, you guys, in the relationships around you, whether you want to believe that or not, whether you want to accept that or not, whether you can see that or not, it is the 100% truth, right? That when you have internal conflict within yourself, within your own being, it is playing itself out in the relationships around you, and mostly in the intimate relationships, right? You are harming and hurting and causing pain to the people around you, right? And if they're also hurting, guess what? It's reciprocity. It's all coming and going back and forth, right? It's all happening. So it's not until you truly connect with yourself, start healing yourself, start really just analyzing, man, what's your relationship with yourself? What are your thoughts? What do you tell yourself on a daily basis? What do you believe about yourself? Right? Those are simple things, man. But most of us, we can't stop and just get a piece of paper and write this shit down. We're like, I hate school. I hate writing. You can't tell me what to do. I'm an adult. I'll just figure it out. Well, where's your results? Right? Have you figured anything out in the first 6 months of 23? What have you figured out? What are you working on? Right? What are you working on? What are you figuring out? Because you should have results. And some of you have more negative results because you will not change this truth that you are either getting better or you're getting worse. So if you don't see your situation improving and you can't literally point to definite, factual, true reality, not just psychological, oh, my life is better because my team's winning. No, I'm talking about in your own personal life. You are either getting better or you're getting worse, right? Your health is either getting worse or your health is getting better, right? Your spirit is either getting better or it's getting worse, right? And you should be able to show evidence of these things. Real evidence, verifiable evidence, not just pretending shit. And that's a hard pill to swallow when you have to realize that, man, you're failing at life, that you're not doing as good as you wish you could be doing. But I'm here to tell you that you can switch up. And I'm here to inspire you and guide you and mentor you and coach you and fucking cheer you on as you start to want to improve your fucking situation. But you got to want it. You got to want it. I'm not going to carry you. No one's going to carry you into a better place of being, right? No one's going to do that for you. Not your spouse, not your mama, not your daddy, not your sister, cousins, brothers, uncle, no one's going to carry you to a better place of being, right? Human beings, you're supposed to being something, and it's not just sitting on the couch watching the tube. It's not just getting drunk, getting high. That's not being. And I know a lot of y'all can't handle this kind of truth, right? But I'm going to keep coming after it. I'm going to keep getting after it because I'm unstoppable, man. I'm superhuman. I feel it, right? And whenever the last breath is that comes out of these lungs, guess what? I'm going to at least be able to rest knowing that I gave it my all, that I stopped playing scared, that I quit allowing for beliefs to hold me back, right? That I said, you know what? I'm going to see how far I can go. I hope that you will join me on that journey because it's your life journey. Your life's journey was not to say, oh, I'm old, I'm in my 30s. I'm old, I'm in my 40s. You're not old, man. There's someone 60, 70 years old right now at the gym, still getting after it, looking their best at 60 or 70 years old, but they've been staying after it, right? So for you to be, I'm old, I'm in my 30s. I'm old, I'm in my 40s. Like, by you telling yourself that, you are correct. Yes, you are old, right? And your body and your mind and your being is going to reflect what you say, because what you say is usually what you believe. Not always, but your words do matter. And when you define yourself as something like I am old, if you're that, you have to actually, here's the process, you guys want to know how this works. By saying I am old, my question back is, what do you mean by old? And that's where that's a journal exercise, because what you would do is you get a piece of paper and you say, what does old mean to me? Right? This is no joke. This is literally how you break through, is when you have to realize what you believe. What do you believe about money? What do you believe about age? What do you believe about success? What do you believe about failure? What do you believe about relationships? Right? What do you believe about the world? What do you believe about life? Like, and something as simple as I am old. What do you mean? And when you actually read your definition, not Webster's, not Wikipedia's, your definition of old, what does that mean? When you read that, here's the beautiful thing. This is probably the most teachable moment here on this show, is that when you actually write that shit down, not with editing it, you can't fuck around with yourself. You got to just write down, what do I believe old means? And not looking up Webster's or Wiki. Just write down whatever the fuck comes to your mind. Because here's the beautiful thing. You are the author and the editor of your life. And I promise you, if you have not really started to dig into this journaling game, there are so many things that you believe that are not your beliefs. Did you hear that? There are so many things that you believe that are not actually your beliefs. I have had to unbelieve all kinds of shit because I'm like writing this down. I'm saying, wait, I don't believe this. This is probably, I don't know, somebody. This is probably my mom's belief. My mom's belief doesn't got to be my belief. So I just kind of one-lined it. And I've now had to say, when it comes to this, I believe this. And what I now believe is more empowering to me, and it lifts me up, and it expands me and makes me a better version of me. It doesn't put her down because she gets to have her beliefs. You get to have your beliefs. But when we start to try and fucking fight with each other about your beliefs versus my beliefs, I'm not worried about that. I just want you to truly understand and know what the fuck you believe, because you don't. I guarantee you do not know what you believe unless you have written down. Because most of you, if it came to something as simple as I am old, you would have to look at Wikipedia, Webster, right? To figure out what you actually believe about shit. Because you can just sit there and be scared to be like, I don't know. But when you actually do write it down without editing it, you're going to realize that that's not your belief. And maybe if you even see what it is, it could be about money, it could be about education, could be about success, could be about your job. What do you believe about freedom? Right? All of these things, we need to really do that self-discovery. That is this journey of self-discovery. What do you believe about alcohol? What do you believe about drugs? What do you believe about being a parent? What do you believe about being a spouse? How do you define love? Right? And it's like, once you actually read this shit, what do you believe about healing? What do you believe about health? What do you believe about nutrition? Like, this may sound dumb to a lot of you because you're like, why the fuck, man? I don't got time for all that. There you go. There's your excuse. You got to make the time. This is the journey. Your beliefs that are entrenched in you usually were not your beliefs. This was shit you were programmed with when you were 10 years old at that impressionable age, right? And your parents and close family members were the ones that spoke these things over you and then thus created a whole entire fucking program of life. And now here you are in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s and beyond, and you're still playing off of someone else's belief. And that's been holding you back your whole life. And you have to fucking decouple from that and let it go. Release it. Release your beliefs. Release the things you think are fucking possible versus what's impossible. Because the truth is, no one knows. No one knows who they could be if they go all out on themselves. And I'm here to continue encouraging you guys, right? This shit matters way too much to me. Now that I have truly changed up my energy, my mind, right? I am on a mission to try and share this inspiration with as many people as possible. But it's still self-rescue. You got to rescue yourself. I'm going to try and give you some tools to help you along that journey. I'm going to try and give you a brand and something to believe in, right? That is possible, that you can switch up, that anything is possible. You can improve your health. You can improve your activities. You can improve your finances, you name it. If there's any area of your life that you wish you could improve right now, I guarantee you, you can improve that. But you got to want it. And you got to be willing to be unstoppable until you get them fucking results. Because you know the drill. Results kill excuses. It's all on me.